welcome everybody to another install of me falling over on my bike. This is the South Ottawa Crit route for out-of-shape dads. Some of you may know this route. And basically this route is about a 10.5 kilometer, is that my neighbor on the left there? Phil? Hey Phil, how's it going? Yeah, so it's about a 10-kilometer loop. There's about 3 Strava segments. And one of which is a 2% grade sprint. And the reason why it's a sprint is because the current KOM holder averaged 64 kilometers an hour up this sprint. Speed limit's 50, by the way. And I did a little bit of math, and that's averaging about 1,700 watts for just over 1.5 minutes. That's like Chris Froome territory, or maybe even better than Chris Froome, I have no idea. But as you can see here, we're entering the first turn, and most dads here would be slowing down for this turn because safety first. But if you're like me and you're racing this crit or training for this crit, you take this full gas. You don't really take it full gas because there's all these potholes you got to avoid, but you do the best you can. And then you get to the backside of this this route, and you'll see that we come up to a light here, and I make the mistake of assuming that this car is just going to go straight. I know that the lights are going to turn, and then I realize, oh crap, that guy might be turning right left. And so I stop right in the middle, don't unclip, and yeah, there, that's how I fell over. Anyway, we keep going on here, and we get to the next right, as you can see in the map, and this leads us to the first Strava segment, which is that 2% climb that I mentioned. And yeah, so I try to get out of my seat here and go full beans up this hill, but I ran out of steam pretty quickly. Now, talking about my threshold real quickly, it's about 185 or thereabouts, which is about half of what professional riders make, and right in the middle of all out-of-shape dads in Ottawa. And the reason is because it's half, is because I like chips and I don't like pain. So it's pretty simple as that. But basically, I make it to the top of this thing, pushing around 300 some watts, and that's it. Personal best. Then I come around the backside here, and the backside here, as you can hear from my Garmin bleep in there, is the next Strava segment. And I think this segment's called Gun It. I'm gonna put up a little thing over here. And yeah, so through Gun It, I think I'm averaging 220 watts or so, or 202 watts, something like that. And it's great training, right? It pushes you. The great thing about the route is that because there's 3 different Strava segments, I'm pushing hard 3 times over the course of a 10-kilometer route. And as you can see here, I'm pushing, but I think the average was 202, but in some places I'm getting up as high as 250, 260 watts, which is great for me. So yeah, and there, I think that's the end of it right here. And then we get up to the Esso station over here where we take our last turn, and I don't know why gas is still 87 cents when a barrel is so cheap. But anyway, we get onto the final Strava segment here, and this is where I completely ran out of gas. And you can see right here I'm pushing 250 watts. I'm feeling pretty good, and just hit a wall. So you can see this. We're going to skip ahead to this little part where I just die right here. I get to these train tracks, and that's it. So so that's my little ride. That's how I fell over. That's how I hurt my knee, and that's what my 10-kilometer route looks like for the South Ottawa Crit for out-of-shape dads. So thanks for joining again, and as always, don't walk in the bike lanes. I said don't walk in the bike lanes. Yeah, you. Yeah, thanks.